Hi guys, Bob for Bob's Movie Review here, and today I'm going to review for you a movie I just recently watched called Clowntown. If you guys enjoy the video, please leave it a like rating. So let's just get the technical stuff out of the way. This movie is an hour and 26 minutes, so kind of right in that area where I think most movies should be as a horror thriller. Got a bunch of clowns. And what perfect timing, right, with all the clown hysteria going on. So this movie is about a group of kids heading to a country music concert, and along the way they stop at this diner, and they're saying their GPS on their phone's not working or something, and they don't know how to get there, so they get directions. And this movie kind of reminds me of a lot of other movies, like the remake of House of Wax, where they kind of get detoured off into this town, you know, or kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the whole family aspect, and just a lot of movies like this where people just kind of get taken to these ghost towns or whatever, you know, abandoned towns. So the girl leaves her cell phone at the diner, and a guy agrees to meet her in this town. Now they get there, and it's pretty much looks deserted. It's a ghost town. And they're waiting for him, and he never shows up. And then as night begins to settle in, clowns come out to play, I guess you'd call it. So other than that, I don't want to get too much into the story because I give away too much. Let's talk about the things that I didn't really like about this movie. Like I said, it does kind of do a lot of similar things to other movies. You know, it wasn't super original, which is okay, but I definitely feel it brings it down a little bit just because it feels like it's been done. The clowns, you know, they only had clown makeup on. They weren't in like full clown costumes, and I feel like for this could probably go 50-50. Some people are going to find it less creepy, and some people are going to find it more creepy. Myself, I think it would have been a lot creepier if they were just like full-on clowns. There's about 4 or 5 or so clowns, and the really big guy, you know, he's just kind of scary, like he could kill you pretty easy. And then there's the really creepy one, and then there's the other guy, the crowbar clown. He just kind of, I don't know, he didn't do it so much for me in the creepiness, you know, just didn't seem quite as creepy as the other guys. The acting is kind of, you know, hit and miss. I would say in some parts the acting was terribly bad, and in some parts it was pretty good. So I think the acting is at least average, but in some parts very questionable, to say the least. Overall, the story was fairly well done, and at some points I was like, oh man, they're not going to go into the backstory at all. Why don't they go into the backstory? I want to know how these clowns came to be. But then they do end up kind of going into that, and then I just kind of, like, as I'm watching it and I'm like thinking up these talking points, like, oh, they didn't do this. They ended up doing like everything I thought they should do, so it was a little confusing, I think, towards the end. They probably could have went into a little more detail, exactly. I don't know. They did at the beginning too. The best way I could describe it is, I guess, like a homage to Halloween, the series. There's a girl babysitting, and they're the Strode residents, and the kid's like obsessed with clowns, and I think he even dresses as he dresses as a clown at one point. And that was kind of like, at first I was trying to think, are they parodying it or what? And I feel like more like maybe you would call it a homage. They're not making fun of it or anything. They're just kind of, you know, referring to it, I guess. So as for production quality, you know, this is a lower budget horror movie, and honestly I was surprised at many points that the production quality is actually pretty good for a lower budget movie. You know, it's not the best quality, and it's definitely not the worst. I mean, I've seen much worse, and maybe this is kind of like a new standard in low budget, because I've been, you know, a lot of more recent low budget horrors have actually had pretty good production quality. You know, it doesn't look like somebody just out there recording it with their cell phone. there might have been a few like little tiny editing things where you know, you see something and then you don't, but I mean, even major blockbusters have that, so I won't grade it down at all for that. So I think it, you know, horror fans, this is definitely worth checking out. If you're afraid of clowns and you want to be scared, maybe, like I said, I think 50-50 chance, because they're just wearing like normal clothes, you know. It kind of takes away, they don't have the wigs, they don't have the floppy shoes, they don't have the colorful outfits, and to me it kind of took away from the whole clown experience. It just looks like, you know, guys out in makeup. You see here on the cover a guy with kind of colorful pants on, and that doesn't happen in the movie. Another thing too is they kind of have the whole run of this town, and the one guy uses a crowbar. To me, it just seems like an axe or something, maybe. I mean, there ends up being an axe. They try to give everybody like their own unique weapon, I guess, and they have their own specialties. I don't know. I think they could have went a little more into the story of this family, you know, but I think overall this was a decent movie, at least average or better. But if you're not a horror fan, maybe it's not for you. I did like this one. I actually watched it twice already, just because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Give this movie a fair shot. So for score on this, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10, which for me is pretty high for a low-budget horror. When I review a movie, you know, it's not necessarily how much I like it, it's how good I think it is, and horror movies are rarely very good. And I definitely give it higher than its average rating on IMDb. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be sure, if you guys are all interested, to check this one out. I don't think you guys will be disappointed. But thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.